Literally. Come on, give me
So long story short, that was probably the one day we would have almost gotten in a fight because I was like, if you come down to TRL, I'm gonna beat you up.
Yeah, you said that to her in the elevator because it was getting crazy and we were in this like conference room talking and I walked out. I was like, I'm just gonna go.
She always walks out and leaves me.
Because I don't want to, no, I always leave you. Anytime.
No, only when there's an argument. To deal with Lisa.
No, but if it were just you two, I'm saying my blood pressure was rising.
Yeah,
so I was like, I need to get out of here.
And she left me.
I did. And then she eventually came anyway, so.
It was a mess, so she said she had diarrhea. On television on TRL. And I just started laughing because I said
Imodium AD. And then I turned around, but Lisa saw it, she got so mad, but I mean.
It was better than telling the real story.
Right.
Now you guys know.
You know, I mean, anything like, I don't know, it was like real crazy. It was always again, every time we went there, you know, Times Square was locked down. People were trying to get into the studio. I remember it was just insane. It was madness. And then it was like, hey, Lance, Lance said, I was going to say, I want to see how she's going to interpret Lance's voice. And I said, Lance, how you doing? He goes, I'm okay, I'm good. I like turtles.
And that does not get box of chocolates. I think for me, what will always go down in like history, because I'm a big comic book nerd and I'm a big Star Wars guy. We did TRL. It was on the day that we launched Millennium, and right after we did TRL, we walked next door and we went and watched the premiere of episode 1. And we got in our seats, and there were 4 seats next to us still open. And as the lights go down, the 4 seats get filled up, and I'm like, hey, it was George Lucas and his family. And I'm like, oh my God! But yeah, that was like such an awesome moment just to be a part of that. And it was like our biggest album. It was an amazing day. Like you said, Times Square shut down, and now George Lucas is just sitting right there. It's like, okay. And me and what was her name? Diane. Remember we had the same matching jacket on? I had that comic book jacket.
I can barely remember 2 weeks ago. You're talking about 2 years ago. I don't.
You did just have a birthday, so yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And it was a good time, man. We had a good time. 25 times 2.
It's Puerto Rican. Freaking Puerto Rican.
Yeah. He's 50. Can you believe that? Like, he's 50. How does he look like that? How do you do it, Howie? How do you do it?
It's in me somewhere. That's what it was.
Can I just say one thing? We did some sort of film, I can't mention the name, but I think it's a drinking game where we figure out how many times you change your accent and what we did.
Oh, I do. Yeah, when we shot Dead 7, man, like, your accent went from, like, Puerto Rican to French to, like, something
American,
Irish.
it's a good drinking game, if you all adults, you should try it. He changes his accent and we all do stupid stuff.
What you talking about, Willis?
Yeah.
How does something like, back then there weren't these conventions, there wasn't social media really, like there were mall appearances. How does this differ from the mall appearances?
All appearances, pet stores. I mean, we actually did the opening of a pet store. Not even kidding. Perform on the back of a flatbed truck in a Walmart parking lot. This whole thing to me is probably one of the coolest experiences to be this close to the fans, because generally, and I'll just speak on behalf of us, and I'm sure all you guys, when you're on tour, you do meet and greets, it's fast, you don't really get a lot of time to have a conversation with the amazing people that love you as much as you guys do. And so to take the time here and to like hear some of your stories, to hear why you're such an amazing fan, just reminds me and us why we love what we do, and we're going to continue to keep doing it until we can't. So thank you to all of you for showing up, taking time out of your busy schedules and lives, and to come out here just to show us all the love that you show us, so thank you.
I gotta say, this is probably maybe the second one I've kind of done this kind of like a 90s con kind of thing. And just doing this, it's really cool for me as well. I think just meeting other celebrities, like meeting TLC, I've always been a big fan of you girls growing up. And all the other artists out there, the 90210 cast. Not Asia, I've been that kid like that. But it's I'm like, just like you guys are excited to meet your people that you've maybe looked up to and admire, we're in the same boat, so it's a really cool experience to be able to talk and hang out with each other and almost like give respect to each other.
No, I disagree with you on that, Howie.
Hang out with AJ? I understand.
No, that's one thing, yeah. But you know, for me, it felt like a reunion. Because we've seen and worked or maybe have been in crossing with all these people that we're doing these shows with. Remember TGI Friday back in the day, we did, within Sick did, thank you. Hey, it's been a long week. Sorry, my brain is like, so, but yes, Serena Teenage Witch we were on, so it was fun, cool to do those things. And it's interesting when we came back, especially in Connecticut, when we did the first 90s con, and it was like, hey, oh my God, Danica, how you doing? Oh, Danielle, how you doing? It's really cool. It's just like a reunion for all of us to see that. I guess you never met anybody, Howie, but that's cool.
This is my first one.
But even back then, you were shy. It was too, we were too.
I don't remember back then.
That's what I thought. It's just a blur.
It's past 2 weeks.
So I'm going to put T-Boz and Chili on the spot a little bit. Did you have a favorite in Sync or Backstreet Boys? Notice I asked the yes or no question.
We know it ain't me.
She said boys, not boy.
True. Was it one individual?
I asked it again. So like, did you have a favorite? Which group between the two of them? And then I won't ask you.
Oh, group or individual?
Group.
Oh.
That makes it worse, doesn't it?
Damn. Say it. Yeah, come on. I'm doing it. Say it. I'm doing it. You know me better.
We love them both.
That's
That's a good
answer.
In that peak time, did you guys feel any sort of sense of competition between the two groups?
No.
Yes.
No, but you know what? Like, obviously,
I was jealous of Howie and his hair.
Yeah. Oh, I've been jealous of everyone's hair. That's why I bought mine. Same. I got no shape. Yeah. What's up? All the way, buddy. Hell yeah. No, but like
Plugs in the house?
yes. Back in the day, like all the different magazines obviously would pit us against each other. Even though like Howie went to college with Chris. I've known Joey for years. I've known Lance for years. Like. There was never any, it was all healthy competition. I would say there was more internal competition with us, like to be the best that we could be and the best that they could be. But it was never like, oh, those guys, I mean, we all just wanted to make good music and just have fun and perform and put on a great show for you guys. I mean, that was it. But the press was just like, oh, it's the Backstreet Boys.
Well, it was the fans too.
Well, yes, there was a line drawn back then, but what I love today is that line is blurred because you'll see both of our fans, all of our fans up here are fans of music. So if you like the song, you like the song. It doesn't matter who sings it. You know what I mean? It's always about the music.
And let's be real, some of the writers and producers were some of the same writers and producers.
Same label, yeah.
I mean, and it was always interesting, because like, I know back in the day they kind of kept us away, but it wasn't like, oh, you guys are writers, you shouldn't be, kind of thing, and everyone was like, mad, because I love your songs so much. I was like, and that's why it was the only rock I was pissed off, because all I have to give is like one of my favorites. It is.
Good choice.
Thank you. But yeah, like, it's funny when people always like, oh, you don't like the Backstreet Boys? I'm like, yeah, like their music is like that. It's a big deal. Like, oh, you don't? No. There's 5 guys, there's 5 of you, they're different. I mean, oh. But thank you guys for actually merging together. Yeah. We know some of you are biased, don't lie. You see how few of you are laughing? Yeah, all right, we know some of you. Because one time I said,